Habibis, welcome, welcome, welcome. Get settled in. It is another Habibi Power Hour. I'm your host, Siraj Hashmi.
I'm the co-pilot, Mujahed Kobbe.
Bring that to hopefully soon.
I've had a lot of titles over my career, and certainly vice president will be great, but mama will always be
Thought we'd try something new there because, whatever. It's
good. It's all in good fun.
All in good fun. How you doing this week, brother?
I'm doing wonderful. It's been a good week. How you been?
I can't complain. I've been busy as fuck though. I haven't had a moment to breathe. Today.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You gotta spread that Sharia, baby.
I know. It's a 9 to 5 and then a 5 to 9 job. It's a 6 to 9 job.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 69 job.
69. Man, I've been trying to spread Sharia in through the office. I have a couple of people who watch the show, and they want me to shout him out and be like that. He's my office Habibi. I have,
you really want to put yourself out there?
Yeah, Habibi is my office Habibi. Just give him a little shout out. No, it's all good. He's gonna know where I work if I say Bob Beebe.
Bob Beebe? Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Nobody knows Bob Beebe.
Anyways, if we were so close to having someone who at least had a touch of Sharia in her. And I say that because Kamala Harris, the senator from California, who was picked as Joe Biden's running mate on Tuesday.
Right.
She's half Indian, half Jamaican, identifies as black. But if only she were like half Pakistani, I think that would fly a little bit better, would it not?
Oh, you think so? Well, for your narrative of Sharia, yeah.
Then she could be Blackistani.
Black Annie.
No,
she could be the black.
Come on,
Blackistani.
Half black.
I would have called her Black Annie. That's what I would have called her. Black Annie.
Anyways, so Biden selected Harris as his running mate, and for those who are not familiar with Kamala Harris, and I assume all the Habibis tuning in right now or listening to it later aren't familiar, and you guys have been, have had your head stuck in that Arabian sand for the last year. But Harris, who was also running for president in the 2020 Democratic primary, she has long been considered a rival of Joe Biden. And I'm just going to play a couple clips here just to give you an idea of the type of combativeness that Kamala Harris was going for. And this is from the first presidential debate in late June of 2019.
So on the issue of race, I couldn't agree more that this is an issue that is still not being talked about truthfully and honestly. There is not a black man I know, be he a relative, a friend, or a coworker, who has not been the subject of some form of profiling or discrimination. Growing up, my sister and I had to deal with the neighbor who told us her parents couldn't play with us because we were black. And I will say also that in this campaign, we've also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden, I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me. So I will tell you that on this subject, it cannot be an intellectual debate among Democrats. We have to take it seriously. We have to act swiftly. As Attorney General of California, I was very proud to put in place a requirement that all my...
Okay, you get the idea. That was that was trailing off right there. But it is the busing part and saying that Joe Biden prevented little girls like her from integrating in schools and sided with segregationists. And this is obviously, if you remember, after that debate, her campaign put out a photo of Kamala Harris as a little girl, like dressed up like she was going to go to school. And then they sold T-shirts of that. So like they really did not let that crisis go to waste. And she ended up fizzling out because of the second Democratic debate. And I'm just going to play this quick clip here because this is the clip that everyone references.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president. But I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place. That impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. When you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Okay, so Kamala never recovered after that. That was the death knell. She stayed in the race for maybe about 4 more months, didn't even make it to Christmas. And now all of a sudden she's the running mate and could be a heartbeat away from the presidency should Joe Biden win. First of all, Jay, I have to ask you, how does it feel to be dead wrong about your vice presidential pick?
I know. I honestly thought it was going to be Rice. I thought it would be a good pick for him because they worked together. They didn't have this debate stuff that was happening between them. He wasn't called a rapist. He wasn't called a racist. He wasn't called any of these things by Rice, but he was by Kamala. And I just think that there would have been a lot. It would have been a lot easier for people to handle or swallow in voting for him and stuff like that than having Kamala Harris. I think it's a very bad decision on it. And it's going to give a lot of fuel to the other side. They're just going to come out and, well, if the media does their job, which I doubt they will, they should ask Kamala every single day, do you still believe his accusers? And if it's so easy for you to flip on who do you believe as coming out against sexual harassment, then how are we supposed to believe your statements when you were trying to throw Kavanaugh into the fire? Yeah,
I would say that with respect to Kamala Harris, progressives hate this move. This is Joe Biden basically giving the finger, saying "fuck you" to progressives, who could have gotten someone like a Karen Bass, who they actually like, but also to most Americans think is, let's just say, an interesting person. She spoke at a Scientology event. Is he doing that?
It's psycho. That's what most Americans would say.
I mean, she spoke at a Scientology event when she was like 19 years old. She went to she went to Cuba and she was praising Castro. I mean, she is very much a leftist, and there was a lot of there was a lot of reporting done on her showing her that she was just it would be very difficult for Biden to sell her to the American people and vote for him, if especially at his age, because everybody's talking about like his mental fitness, his physical fitness, that he not, there are jokes being flung around that, think about it, we're only months away from finding out who Kamala Harris's vice president is going to be.
Right. No, it's so funny. And when you see something like that, like, why is it that these type of op dumps are happening against everyone except for Kamala Harris? The only media outlet that really gave it to her was The Intercept, when they came out against her with her record on how bad she was as the California DA in terms of jailing people on petty crimes and everything. And as Tulsi stated before, allowing somebody to go through the death row sentence and be and blocked evidence that would help exonerate him. Why is it that the New York Times didn't drop something like that? Why didn't Washington Post? Why did it have to be The Intercept?
Yeah, I mean, like the whole Tara Reid allegations had never really, I mean, like they just didn't get picked up beyond Megyn Kelly's interview.
Right.
And Kamala Harris saying that she believed the accusers back in April of 2019, and how, she never really like went back on that. That's just out there. And immediately, as soon as she got selected, that was like one of the first pieces of reporting that people were re-upping and recycling and putting out there, because it was just like, how do you pick someone who is that critical of you to the point where they think you engaged in sexual misconduct or were sexually inappropriate with other women? It's crazy.
No, it really is. And then you had Washington Post coming out the first one out the gate saying, well, she didn't really call him a racist. You know what I mean? Like, it's the game that they play is just so obvious to everyone watching. And it's not just the people on the right that are seeing it. It's also the far left. And I think they hate these people more than people on the right do.
Yeah. I want to, I'm going to share a little something for the Habibis, because you guys will like this. So Sean King, back in November of 2018, said, "I'll be frank and tell you two Democrats that I am 99% sure I won't be supporting, primarily because of their dismal history on criminal justice reform over the course of their entire careers. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They both helped build and advance mass incarceration." Get ready for the chaser. That was the shot. Get ready for that chaser. On August 11th, 2020, Sean King writes, "That's it for me. I am incredibly proud to see a brilliant Black woman and historically Black college and university grad chosen as a vice presidential nominee. I've done political work my whole life. It's rarely things dreams are made of. Kamala Harris is the most progressive VP nominee in American history." I mean, what the fuck?
It's so good.
Like, everybody, like, I feel ashamed and I like cringe every time I see someone unironically share something that Sean King wrote or put out there, because like the dude is just one of the biggest grifters, not of the Trump era, but just of the last decade.
It's crazy. They're so obvious grifters, and I don't understand why people just buy into them. And it's just so crazy to me. And he's not wrong with his first tweet. I mean, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden together have incarcerated more Black people than Mike Pence and Trump would ever do in their lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, they're responsible for a lot of policies that went into place that helped put them behind bars. And to watch it flip like that, they want to go where the money is, and that's exactly where where they want to do. I mean, his first tweet is a perfect like statement, and is a perfect like political ad and stuff that the Trump campaign should just keep on reposting.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is that Sean King he was embraced by the progressive left to the point where he was speaking as a surrogate for Bernie Sanders during the primary. And when you get that kind of legitimacy, it's difficult to sort of ice that guy out, because there are a lot of people who would just be like, he spoke at Bernie Sanders, so he's got to say, whatever he says, it's got to be truthful or right or some shit like that. Like I'm not blaming Bernie Sanders for having him as a surrogate. I don't know if like the two, if Bernie is even aware of the type of grifting that Sean King does. And not to make this all a point about Sean King, it's just like he's large. I mean, like there have been a number of reports, even from the Daily Beast, the most recent one earlier this year, about how he completely ran like the reinvention or the reimagination or revision of the North Star publication, which was a Frederick Douglass newspaper, I believe, that he started. He just ran it into the ground after getting like hundreds of thousands of dollars in seed money, and no one knows where that money is.
Nope.
So
it's, I mean, he needs to be behind bars. He stole money. That's there's no.
I'm surprised no one has tried to prosecute him yet, but he's largely canceled. In any event, we got a few more simps that we want to show you. Look at this shit.
Oh my
Look
God.
at Ana Navarro Cardenas. Writing, "My poodle and I are going to bed happy, knowing that when Uncle Joe becomes president, Auntie Kamala will be there in case bad crap happens." I mean, just look at that shit. Just next level cringe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Do they not have people in their lives to take their phones away for them? Like, it's fucking.
Oh,
it's
she's going on the list for sure. Fuck that.
Oh my God.
So bad. Mary, thank you so much. And then we want to move on to another simp. Where is this? Give it. Show me. Randy Rainbow. I don't know who this dude is, but he writes,
some guy.
"Good night, Mom and Dad. See you in the morning." I mean, if these are people who are like family members to you, you really need to focus on bettering your relationship with your family members.
Right? Imagine. I mean, I mean, to be honest, he probably does have daddy issues and mommy issues or something to call Biden and Kamala Harris mom and dad. It's just these people are everything they accuse MAGA people of being, and these people are fucking Hollywood celebrities and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking crazy to me. I don't. All right,
that's bad. And then get a load of this shit right here. By the way, did you say mega when you meant to say it's MAGA?
Whatever.
All right, so Stephen Colbert tweets this out. It's taking a sec for the GIF to load, but it's essentially Kamala Harris dancing.
Bro, get off of that satellite internet and get yourself like a 500 megabit internet.
I literally just got an extender. I hate this thing so much, but Stephen Colbert tweets out the TFW, that feeling when you get to debate Mike Pence. Like, all right, I'm not even going to waste my time waiting for the GIF. It's going to take forever. But look, the reason why Kamala Harris didn't make it past the primaries is because she got absolutely destroyed in the debates.
Right. She got decimated. And they keep on coming out thinking that she is some great debater, that she's going to be so amazing. And it just goes to show, they would have said that about anyone. If he picked a fucking rock to be his VP, they would have said that shit. They'd be like, oh no, He can't wait to. He's going to be destroyed by our wall. Blah blah blah. It's like, fuck you. We know the game on it.
Mary chimes in. Oh, come on. Jay's diet is crazier than Anna's tweet. All right, let's hear about that diet.
What's my diet?
Ass.
Oh, God damn it. I wanted my mom to say it.
Oh, man. All right. So one thing I got to point out here because, and I'm just getting my notes in front of me because I'm an idiot. I have like 8 different screens in front of me and none of them work. So one thing, so there are a couple different things, the way that the Republicans are going after Kamala Harris in particular is that she is a radical leftist, or she's a Trojan horse, sort of just waiting to get in place of power via the vice presidency to then implement this radical agenda where sanctuary cities are going to be nationwide. Undocumented immigrants are going to get, Medicare or Medicaid. And I feel like if you look, she also said Jussie Smollett, that whole, fake, or that hoax of a hate crime, like she still hasn't walked that back. But at the same time, even if you disagree with all of her statements, like her policies align as a prosecutor, probably fall in line with someone who's a little bit like a right of center conservative. Jailing people for possession of marijuana, you would never find that at all in the 2020 Democratic Party.
Right. And I think a lot of Republicans are coming more off of that too, more to the center of that, and trying to do a lot of good reform, especially justice reform. Hopefully something like that can happen. But on the debate stage and stuff, they're going mainly with what she's been saying. Like, she's agreeing with the new Green Deal. She's wanting more immigration. She wants more sanctuary cities and stuff. These are the things she said. Now, whether or not they're going to implement these policies, we'll come to see it. But the funny thing about it is how the media likes to say that these right-wing nuts are just overplaying it and blah blah blah, while they still say that Russia collusion was a thing, and Trump was a Russian agent, or that he's going to kill 1 million people with taking out net neutrality and stuff like that. It's all hyperbolic nonsense, but the right hasn't really gone that far off the deep end on claiming things that she hasn't said herself. You know what I mean? If somebody's saying that they agree with the Green New Deal, they're a far left fucking nut, in my opinion.
Oh, no, I don't doubt it. I think her actions as a senator, I think she moved further to the left because she was trying to sort of catch the wave of, the progressives on endorsing a Green New Deal. She wants to get rid of the filibuster.
Right.
Kamala Harris of today is definitely someone who is left of center, but she's not a progressive, and she's not a leftist. I think she says these things. I think she's in many ways, she is like Joe Biden. In other ways, she's like Hillary Clinton. I think that if she were ever to become president, I think she would govern like a neolib. I think she would govern like Obama.
Maybe. She could, and we can see. We'll see. If Biden wins, we're going to see how much of all that shit that they promised that they're going to walk back, because it's a lot of stuff that they said that they agree with in the progressive side of stuff. And the far left.
I just feel like at least in the primary for Joe Biden, it was different. He occupied that moderate lane. I feel like he's moving further to the left during the general, yet picking someone like Kamala Harris is sort of like a reminder that he's still the same old neoliberal Joe. So
right. But on her progressive rating, wasn't she rated like the 4th most progressive senator or something like that.
I guess, but I mean, like, what, she co-sponsored a Green New Deal in the Senate along with Ed Markey, I think. But like,
I believe so.
When McConnell brought it up for a vote, she, I think, abstained. I don't think she even. I mean, McConnell, Cocaine Mitch was a genius on that and saying, and
right, he really was
getting everyone to try to vote on the Green New Deal just to see where every Democrat stands. So like, you could just like hear the gears in his brain ticking, because he knew as soon as any of these Democrats decided they were going to vote for it, that's just immediate fundraiser money. However, there, just to switch gears just a little bit within the Kamala Harris talk, because there is a possibility that we actually might get Sharia law, and here's what I mean.
It's vigilantism on steroids. It's like, you know, we've seen, if you're a Muslim, you grew up within Islam, you're trying to reform it, you're just a good American Muslim, you are being confronted with a former vice president and I would say a candidate for a major political party who's basically saying, let's enforce Sharia law. I have absolutely nothing against, and I'm with him on, let's fight discrimination. We should not be bullying Muslim children. We shouldn't be doing any of that. He's really good on that. But I don't know who puts these words in his mouth, and I'm alarmed.
So as a garden variety Protestant, this went right over my head. I didn't catch any of it. I didn't even notice. Would this be obvious to people who grew up reading the Quran?
Yes, I watched that video. I mean, all of it, not just where you stopped, but where I think there's this concept called commanding right and forbidding wrong. And I absolutely cannot believe that in the year 2020, Joe Biden is commanding right and forbidding wrong, meaning he is enforcing Sharia law. I understand that Joe Biden doesn't know what he's doing, because, and I think most Americans don't, but he does have a campaign team. He has a team of people who will say, this is what you can say, and here's why. This is what I think is. Your former guest said she's sorry when she made a gaffe. This is something I think, because we're in this cancel culture, so, and I'm absolutely against cancel culture, but this is, here's one thing where I would say Joe Biden should.
Okay, I don't know why that clip got cut off like that.
I was made like,
I had to switch headphones because I really wasn't hearing well out of those earbuds. But Habibis, it's happening. We're finally getting Sharia law. I've waited so long for this day, and it's finally happening. And I just got to say, like, look, Kamala Harris would make a horrible president. Let's not even kid ourselves. As vice president, she could be a complete non-factor.
right.
And I think people are obviously worried mostly about Joe Biden being, if he gets elected, he would be the oldest president. He would be the oldest person to be sworn into office. And I think, look, could he not make it past the first term? Absolutely. Could he resign? Could he die? You know, everything is possible. But if you're Judge Jeanine, this is this is what happened today. This is what she said. Hold on one second.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. The first thought that I have, Jesse, is for some reason, I just have this feeling that Joe Biden isn't going to be on the ticket. I have a sense that something's going to happen before the election, and he's not even going to be on the ticket. So don't even ask me if he's going to make the 4 years. But let me just tell you a little bit about what I
She's that it's that Lebanese intuition. She's got it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Judge Jeanine is technically Judge Jeanine Bibi.
Yeah. Wait, is she Syrian or I think Lebanese?
She's Lebanese. She's half. She's at least half Lebanese and I think half Italian. But she's 100% New York.
Yeah, you can definitely tell.
I just find it amazing that that people still think Biden will not be the nominee. Look, anything is possible. But I think if you are in the position of someone who has a huge platform like Judge Jeanine, putting that out there is probably not in your best interest.
No, I wouldn't think so. But that's what these news things are. I mean, well, news things like Jeanine and Hannity and all this kind of stuff. They put these outrageous things out there.
Yeah,
it gets them those clicks. But like I would say it. Maybe he does die in like 4 November. I mean, he's old as shit. He walks into places not knowing where he is. He called Carmela. He took a play out of my book.
Yeah, no, people were really pissed off about about Tucker Carlson mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name, and we discussed this a little bit before going on the air, because you are awful at pronouncing people's names.
Oh, 100%.
Essentially. So, but like
white names.
Oh yeah, especially white names. But like and this is something I only learned pretty recently, was how not everyone likes it or finds it funny like I do when your name gets butchered. Like my name gets butchered every single time. I was on Fox Business the other morning, and the guest host Dagan McDowell was filling in for Maria Bartiromo, called me Shiraz, like the wine.
I'd rather call you Sarah, baby.
Yeah, that was oh man. So I apologize to BBs. I'm insanely tired. I did not sleep well at all yesterday or last night.
Even though you always wake up at 1 p.m. I don't know how you don't get enough sleep.
Real quick, because
this guy doesn't wake up until like 1 p.m. I'll get enough sleep.
Oh,
you
man.
gotta sleep the whole week, man.
Yeah. So real quick, because I want shifting gears a bit, I want to just thank a particular governor, and that's Andrew Cuomo. I just want to thank him for this tweet, because finally recognizes us members of the LDC. For anyone who's concerned, who doesn't know what the LDC is, if you are less than 6 inches, you're part of it. So he puts out that tweet: wear a mask the right way. Sometimes 3 inches makes all the difference. And puts out this little side by side. 3 inches matters here on a football field. Make it matter here. And it's a photo of a woman's mouth with a mask off of it. I mean, given the fact that Andrew Cuomo has pierced nipples, we all know he does. Like, really, 3 inches?
It's so funny, but you know what? It makes me feel better about myself. I mean, if 3 inches does, I mean, I'm right here for you.
Little dick click unite.
Hey, everyone's mother thinks it's cute. They like it. It's adorable.
Okay,
And
moving on. Oh, go ahead.
Nice and long.
Nice. There was some big primary elections this week, one of which was in Georgia. There was a runoff, and this QAnon sympathizer supporter, Marjorie Taylor Greene, won her runoff election. And so we will almost be guaranteed to have someone who's a QAnon believer. And look, for those who are unfamiliar with QAnon, I feel like we could have a discussion on that, like maybe another episode, because it is.
I don't know much about it.
Like, yeah, a lot of people don't know much about it, but the fact that it's like it's like this one giant conspiracy theory of how like the deep state and like Pizzagate and the death of John F. Kennedy Jr. They're all like interrelated. Like, but like the one thing that was weird about it was President Trump basically like gave her his blessing, and we're just like, oh, come on, dude. Like, everybody's wondering who Q is, and it's just like you're giving these people who think they have so much power like a lot more legitimacy, and they haven't done anything. It's just it's batshit insane to me. I mean, I know you don't know much about it, but like that was one weird story. The other weird story, well, I'll get into this because this is kind of a subject of today's Twitter topic, and that was this particular reporter, Niles, who's some 18-year-old reporter in Georgia covering the Green campaign. And I guess at an event, an AJC reporter, I think American Jewish Coalition, he was oh no, not AJC. AJC is a Atlanta publication. My apologies. I keep getting those two mixed up. AJC is, it's gonna drive me nuts. Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Of course. Why would I? I'm an idiot. God.
You're not an idiot. It's all good.
Anyways,
you're a sexy
sorry,
Sarah. That's what you are.
I'm warm, Sarah. I'm feeling nice and toasty in this vest.
I know. Look at you in your vest. You know, the funny thing is, I have almost the exact same shirt. I'm not even gonna lie. I wore it today.
Oh, dude, that would be if we wore it matching.
So bad if I wore it.
Yeah, Yashar would never forgive us. Anyways, nope. So Niles was the target of this Marjorie Taylor Greene on Twitter, and she was just like sicking all her followers on him for defending an AJC reporter getting kicked out of her event. And then this reporter Niles, he deactivated his account, and Comfortably Smug was sort of like dogpiling on him, and it made it seem like he was endorsing that. And before I forget, Billy Finn, send this to Lockheed Martin for the war on Smug. Just sweet earn. Thank you, Billy. I'm glad he brought up Smug because I was trying to get into it and I wanted to tie that in. So Smug and his minions started coming after me because I decided to put Smug on the list, and Smug was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, list me, motherfucker, or list me, bitch. And like, it's just like, I don't care. It could all just be a joke. I might not actually even put him on the list. He might be an honorable mention, but I just feel like, for a reporter who's 18 years old, whether you believe that person to be an adult or a kid, everybody sort of has a debate on like the maturity level of an 18-year-old. And I heard that this guy was this 18-year-old reporter was kind of a dick to other people on Twitter. And like, look, that's like on brand for pretty much every 18-year-old on Twitter.
Twitter is the land of the wolves.
It is the land of the wolves. And I do agree with Smug that it is the land of the wolves. But I would just feel like it's a weird hill to die on to back a QAnon supporter.
Oh, of course. But Smug is
he's a troll. I mean, he is a master troll. And I like take that with a grain of salt. And I understand that the dude's a troll. So,
but trolling for QAnon is list worthy, 100%.
I feel like it's list worthy, and like because that essentially it borders on territory of being list worthy. Anyways, so that'll be
that decision completely. Yeah, and then he came for Earn too.
Oh yeah,
that motherfucker.
Earn's gonna pistol whip him next time he sees him.
Oh hell yeah, like a little bitch.
Like a little bitch. So here's the other primary that happened. Ilhan Omar, your girlfriend, won her primary in Minnesota.
Speaking about bitches. She pays her fucking boyfriend or new husband now millions or hundreds of thousands in campaign money to suck his dick. It's insane, and nobody gives a shit.
Hey, at least that money stays in the family, right?
Right. I mean, and then no, go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna go into a.
I was just gonna quickly read the report on it because she beat a very well-funded opponent who even the Minnesota Star Tribune, or is it Minneapolis Star? You know, I'm messing up every single newspaper name.
Minnesota.
It is Minnesota. That's what I thought.
Yes.
The Minnesota Star Tribune, they endorsed her primary opponent, and is that Antone Melton Mew. Antone. It's not like there's no I in Anthony. Yo, it could be Anthony because if you read it phonetically, it's Antone. Anthony. Antony. Anyways, this attorney and mediator, he raised millions of dollars, and he ran a competitive race. Omar beat him by double digits, so I guess you can't really say it's that competitive. She is the final member of the squad, the fourth member, to win their primary and basically keep their seat because everybody.
Well, the AOC endorsed. I mean,
well, that AOC endorsed.
Yeah, AOC endorsed like so many other like Congress Congress people didn't win, but the squad did win. I mean,
Jamal Bowman might be the only exception, and then I think there was what's her name? Cori Bush out in St. Louis, who unseated Lacey. Is it Bill Lacey? Oh God, Lacey Clay. That's who it is. Got 10-term congressman in St. Louis, which is a big upset.
That was
so. There definitely are more progressives coming to the table, but it's not like the progressive wave that I think a lot of big leftists are looking for. Elon, the squad maintaining their seats is certainly a good sign that at least in their view, they have at least 2 more years to, if Trump is reelected, try to impeach him because that's pretty much all they want to do.
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, after seeing the shit show that happened the last time, and the fact that more reports are coming out that their Russia collusion shit was completely full of shit. Mm-hmm. What I find very funny is that you have the media coming at that QAnon supporter for being like a conspiratorial nutcase, but Ilhan Omar gets a pass, and she's cheered. Well, and she pushes all these conspiratorial theories against Jews, and she's a very anti-Semitic.
Well, she did. I think she got a lot of flack for that, but it's just weird because
she married her brother.
This is the thing. There is a huge incentive when you talk. She married her brother. There is a huge incentive to never apologize to the mob, and I feel like Ilhan Omar was one of those people who did not apologize, only doubled down, and the only time she really apologized was to Nancy Pelosi, who just got their speakership because it was making her life difficult. And so whatever anti-Semitic bill that they drafted in the House, it got watered down to basically denouncing all hate, not just anti-Semitism. And so Ilhan Omar wasn't singled out, and same with Rashida Tlaib. She wasn't singled out either.
But that's what like people are crying that, oh my God, Trump legitimized QAnon and all this kind of stuff, while Pelosi and Schumer and all these people are completely legitimizing people like Tlaib and Ilhan Omar as complete, Jew hating.
I mean, okay, so like Rashida Tlaib has had probably more incidents of flirting along the lines of spreading like propaganda in favor of like Palestinian terrorists. With that, who is that guy who was driving into a Israeli checkpoint and like deliberately turned into to try to hurt Israeli soldiers?
Try to
she was
kill
like,
Israeli
yeah,
soldiers.
she was retweeting a particular account saying that like this guy was assassinated, and then you look at the video and this guy clearly was like driving his car into Israeli soldiers with the intent of hurting and or killing them. So, but the thing is, she has like this, you know, plausible deniability that like a retweet of a particular, you know, sentiment is something that she said that she doesn't share herself.
She had people in her campaign, and I'm pretty sure she did too, chanting to the river and the sea. And not only that, she had Hezbollah apologists who promote and push Hezbollah as a legitimate political party of Palestine.
Yeah.
Photo opping with her and stuff. It's sick. It's just trash. That's what it is. And all the things that they want to say, like about. Never mind. Let's move on. No, I'm really sick and tired of these fucks. Like, because the Palestinian people are suffering mostly because of the PA and because of Hezbollah. And then you have
and
people
Hamas.
like Rashida Tlaib and Hamas. And then Hamas, sorry. And you have people like Rashida Tlaib here in the United States living the life of fucking. She's living the high road and shit. She knows nothing about the suffering of the Palestinian people, being used as human shields and being taught at the age of 4 to go and kill Jews. Because that's what the religion tells you to do.
I mean, like, I feel like what was she born? Was she born in the U.S. or was she born in Palestine or in Israel?
Shit, she's trash. No,
well, I feel like she at least. I feel like she, you know, I mean, because you and I grew up in the circles of like the sort of like the anti-Semitic tropes being thrown around, and in like the recent months. We've seen a lot of people sort of simp for Louis Farrakhan, and you've had like Deshaun Jackson putting out fake tweets of attributed to Hitler, and then, you know, quotes from Louis Farrakhan. Then you have Nick Cannon and Ice Cube all like associating themselves with Farrakhan, and all, you know, I feel like that has sort of washed out any of the anti-Semitic concerns coming from people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. It's just that I feel like no matter what, like it seems like Jews just always end up on the receiving end of suffering. So, but getting to another conspiracy theorist, because we were blessed with the one and only Alex Jones.
Well, the past, I've been coming here since I was in high school and college. And now you guys use your COVID hoax to like set a checkpoint up so you can take over the parks and start charging. It's unconstitutional. This is not even a city ordinance. This is a illegal power grab of the people's greenbelt, and it's time to free Austin. So are you guys volunteers for the city of Austin? Who are you, masked man?
I'm a lifeguard for Barton Springs.
You're a lifeguard for Barton Springs, now part of the criminal power grab. This is outrageous criminal activity. This is the seizure of the infrastructure of Austin. It is all color of law garbage. My wife came here this morning when you cult member Coops showed up here, and you asked her, where's her reservation? Her reservation is that we live in a free country. We live in America. I call for everybody out there watching. The time for civil disobedience is here. I want this removed tonight. COVID-19 is a power grab hoax. COVID-19 is a scam. Is that your IQ? One finger? APD just did its job. When a man comes up sick and I go in here.
The guy is insane.
I mean, he doesn't provide any news value whatsoever. I just wanted to play that clip because that happened today, so I could play this clip.
I'll admit it. I will eat my neighbors. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower is being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years since I got food and stuff, but I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up. And you know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will. I'm combat model, optimum self-sufficiency, probably the leader. The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up my neighbor, how I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his ass up? I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your ass. And that's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first.
So shout out to Alex Jones for bringing ass eating
to the forefront, trying to make it more mainstream.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is about Alex Jones is he channels basically every conspiracy theorist. I mean, like, well, no, he doesn't channel it. He feeds it out to you know, all the detractors on the conspiracy theorists on the right. It's just it's beautiful. But what is there was another thing. Did I upload it? Shit, I don't know if I did. You know, this story is kind of weird because I don't know if you guys saw it, but Frank Luntz, the pollster, has a fucking he has a goddamn Oval Office in his house that costs $1 million. Let me find this shit because this is just absolutely absurd.
It's absolutely crazy. I mean, people have their hobbies and stuff, like what they like to collect and all this kind of stuff. But that guy, holy shit, $1 million to replicate the Oval Office. That is dedication.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't have the all the images or the video here, but just know that his house is weird as fuck, and I don't know if he's married. I don't know if he's single. But that place is definitely not a pussy magnet.
Well, if he has $1 million to drop on replicating an office, I mean, my pussy's wet right now.
Speaking of wet pussies,
it is.
I was going to save this for the end, but I feel like some people are just going to go to bed early. So let's just get through it right now because
oh shit,
this is just too much right now because the pussy market is really hot right now, and I'm just gonna let me just do it because Ben Shapiro got some thoughts.
Here are some of the lyrics. You ready? Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. Hold up. I said certified freak 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. P word is female genitalia. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up N word. Catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive. It continues along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, oh.
My favorite was P word is female genitalia. More of a fucking 32-year-old virgin. More, I think he's more of a virgin than you are, Habibi. That's what I think.
Man, that really hurts. That shit hurts.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, and I just want to, shout out to Prison Mitch because he gifted the world with this.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. Hold up. I said certified freak 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. P word is female genitalia. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up N word. Catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive.
So good.
It's so bad, but so good. It's great. I mean, the whole conservative backlash to wet ass pussy is just, it's beautiful. And, you know, we thought about doing a little of our own reading, and I don't know, you know, obviously we got to censor ourselves. We can't say the N word on here, but we could say everything else, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so
I might be drunk enough to actually say the N word.
Are you not? Are you not? Well, no. But you gotta preface it with sand, because that's the only, if you don't preface it with sand, because that's that's the ethnic slur thrown at us. Sand like N-word.
Sand N-word. It looks like we can say it with impunity. I mean, if you saw fucks over in New York, they were just saying the N-word while they were protesting for Palestine and stuff. It was
yeah, that's right. I did see that. And I guess that brings up another issue of like why brown people who are not black can say the N-word, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, I've seen plenty of brown people, Pakistanis and Arabs, say the N-word.
I grew up with it in the UAE. I had Syrians, Lebanese, Egyptians, like everybody was fucking just saying it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was too with my black friends and stuff. Like, it was crazy. It's probably because it didn't have the same stigma over in the UAE and stuff like that, like it did here in the United States.
Yeah.
Even though in the UAE they still have slaves. Even while we were at school and stuff. That's a topic for another day. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to read this chorus, and just the chorus alone, in my traditional Pakistani accent.
I'll try to do it in an Arabic accent.
Arabic?
Arabic.
You're gonna mess me up because I'm gonna try to pronounce it and do an Arabic accent, and it's gonna come out all weird and shit. So
let's do the Pakistani accent. Let's hear the Pakistani accent. Do it.
Whores in this house. There are some whores in this house. There are some whores in this house. There are some whores in this house. Hold up. I say certified freak, 7 days a week, wet ass pussy, make that bullet game weak. I'm not going to keep going. I can't do it.
That's perfect. It's better than I could do, honestly. Holy shit, that's so good. All I want now is somebody to make like a poo was rapping that song. That would have been perfect.
Oh yeah, because the way they say, because back is, you know, like if you have that really thick Indian or Pakistani accent, you say, you know, pussy is the funniest word ever. Pussy.
Yeah, in Arabic it's like boozy.
Pussy. I don't know if you want to take a stab at it. Do you? You want to try to do?
You did perfect.
I did. Okay. All right. Let's. We're such idiots. Oh, okay. Last story of jihad on tap. Sarah, they are whores in this house.
Whores in this house.
Oh, they are whores in this house. So you know this comedian Sarah Cooper, the viral Trump impersonator who like comedian. The people who were saying unironically writing that she was the reason why Trump wanted TikTok banned because of her impersonations of Trump. She was not impersonating him. She was just lip syncing. And she's getting a Netflix special titled Everything's Fine that will premiere this fall. She guest hosted on Jimmy Kimmel's late night show. I don't even know what is it. Jimmy Kimmel Live, I think. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel Live. Nobody watches that shit, but everybody watches her TikTok videos. I feel like this is the case where people. This is like the Benny Johnson of the left. People who undeservedly get promoted and get a lot of money for doing something that's just so basic.
Right, so mediocre. She's not even like her comedy is not even funny, and people are going to realize that it's going to be awkward laughs. That's the most that's going to come out of it.
It's like that Hannah Gadsby, and what's his name? Donald Glover. Donald Glover was talking about this whole type of comedy called clapter. It's not, they're clapping because they agree with the point, but there's no comedy or humor in it.
Or they want to pretend that they agree with the point, because agreeing with the point essentially 100% makes 100% you a good person.
Yeah. But like the best comics right now almost entirely avoid politics, or at least see politics as something that's not, one side only. Like if you're a resistance comic, like the best comics I find now are those who can see the humor in Trump without just like taking offense to everything he says. So Shane Gillis, who did that really great sketch about how Trump is funnier than most comics, and he'll just get up on the debate stage and he won't say a single fact, but he'll just go up there and say no and like completely throw off everyone on stage. And then like the best part was like, and I think I mentioned this during another episode, is how he would just come up and be like, Rand Paul is ugly, and like all the audience would be like, oh shit. And Rand Paul would be like, respond and be like, no, he's ugly. And all of Trump's supporters would be like, shut the fuck up, Rand Paul.
Yeah.
Like, and then Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon's another dude who's really fucking funny, because like him and Andrew Schultz. I feel obviously Dave Chappelle, he's the GOAT. He's been doing a pretty good job. And I haven't seen every one of his specials. Bill Burr is another one. I fucking love that guy.
Bill Burr. I think Bill Burr's rants are the most hilarious things.
Greatest rants ever. I love his podcast. Whenever Don't have much time to listen to it, but it's amazing.
I usually catch him when he's on Joe Rogan, and it's always great.
Yeah. So before we move on to the next segment, we'll hear from some Habibis, and it's also Earn time. So I'm going to go ahead and get Earn, and then we'll answer some questions. And then
we didn't even get to weekly jihad before you went to Earn.
Well, we did get we got wet ass pussy under our belts, right? We both literally and figuratively.
Hell yeah.
We got this wet ass
pussy.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, go get Earn. I'll answer some questions. Let's go. And he still doesn't make me like an administrator, so I can't click on him, but I can try to read them. What do you guys think of this baby blue teal shirt? Is it good? Fuzzy, look, at least I don't support Nazis. You support literal Nazis. And hopefully when we get to Champions League next year, or next season, you're going to see something completely different. Simply wonderful. I bought another bottle of Larcy. I liked it that much because they didn't have Buffalo Trace. So I got another one of these, especially when I had people over.
Yeah, so people are wondering. Yeah,
COVID party. No, I'm joking. Not a COVID party. We had a French fry air frying party where people brought their air fryers, and we did. we just did a bunch of French fries, and I got that as a bourbon to share.
Yeah.
There would be joining us, Danielle.
Huh? Yeah, I don't know how Jay becomes administrator, Wonder Kimmy. I'm sorry. Shmuley Gansberg asked, what are your thoughts about Yashar calling that dude a Nazi? I put him on the list for that because I feel like he was he took out important context of how Madison Cawthorn is the person that we're referring to. He's a congressional candidate running in North Carolina, beat a Trump-backed candidate. This is Mark Meadows' old district. Mark Meadows, who's now the White House chief of staff. it was a special, I believe, special election. Or no, I don't even know if special election, but regardless, Madison Cawthorn went to visit Hitler's vacation home in the mountains of it was in Germany. And
no shit.
Well, no, because the reason I say that is because Hitler was born in Austria, so I wasn't sure if it was like on the border of Austria or slightly in Austria.
Right.
You fucking idiot.
Fuck you. No, it is in Germany. It is a history.
Yeah, it's the eagle's nest.
Yeah, eagle's nest.
And so obviously the Allied forces, mainly the Americans, took it over. And if you watch great miniseries Band of Brothers, it actually is featured in it. Really good. Anyways,
Billy Flynn. No,
what?
He just did a comment, $5 comment. Billy
Finn says Yashar is just mad that Cawthorn is exactly his type and won't get with him.
I can't. I got it.
We're gonna have to clip that and just send that to him.
Go ahead and take a picture of it and send it to him right now.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
That's so good. Oh really man.
Is. Oh my god. That's 100% right. I mean,
that's 100% right. Oh, he sent it to the group chat. I'm so excited to see his response.
I want to see what it comes out with. No, it really was a complete hit on the guy from multiple people who supposedly don't believe in cancel culture, trying to cancel the kid.
Yeah.
And Jezebel was the first one to come out with the
Yashar was not the first person to come out with it, but he certainly helped pile on.
Yes,
yeah,
he did. And
yeah,
that's 100% out there.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing, essentially, about that kid was like, I'm not going to bow down to the leftist people, and then he deletes
the leftist mob. Yeah, like, no, you can't do that shit. I had to put him on the list for that.
No, you
can't do that.
You can't say I'm not going to be scared, and then delete the post. It's like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Fuzzy chimes in saying, Siraj and Jay, can you wish Simply Wonderful happy birthday? Simply Wonderful. Inshallah, Habibi, may you have a very, very happy birthday.
Sana halwa yagami. Sana halwa yagami. I'm just doing it in Arabic. Just for her. Happy birthday, Simply Wonderful.
Yashar.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said, y'all are trash, LMAO. Wait, why does it have a dollar amount next to his name? Oh, it's because it was a super chat. So Thomas asked, why did Jezebel write the hit piece? You know, that's a good question. I think there are a lot of journalists who feel the need to try to make a story out of nothing. I will say the actual Instagram post was certainly odd to call like visiting the Eagle's Nest a bucket list item, but you know, I think if you're a history buff, there's certainly a little bit more, you know, the appreciation for wanting to visit these historical sites and really understand how we got to where we are today.
Right. And to Thomas's point is the reason why they did the piece is for cancel culture. They wanted to somehow portray him as a Nazi sympathizer for being excited to come to this place.
Yeah.
And they didn't go out and say, you know, he called Hitler supreme evil in the same post. And the fact that these people, it is a vacation destination. You know, like a lot of people go there. There's restaurants on there. There's a garden. There's all these kind of things that people to go for it. And that's the reason why he went there in the first place. And but Jezebel wanted to try and put it out like he needs to be canceled. He's a Hitler sympathizer, or he's Hitler and all that kind of stuff. And and they tried to make it like all Republicans like him and with the same haircut are Nazis. And it's old at this point.
Yeah, associating everybody with being a Nazi, unless like they're actually a Nazi. I mean, like it's a boy who cried wolf type of attack now, where people are just desensitized to it. And you know, Trump has been maligned as one. And he was going to lock up all the gays in camps, and he was going to deport all the Muslims. And you even go back to like the 2012 election where you had like Joe Biden saying that Mitt Romney was going to lock up blacks and put them back in chains. So when you use that type of I got to take this vest off. I'm seeing Simply Wonderful for your birthday. I'm going to give you a shout out. Siraj's vest is giving Ern hot flashes. Shit, it's giving me hot flashes. I feel like I'm a menopausal woman right here, which is probably why I don't get fucked anymore.
Holy shit. Bro, next time I'm in DC, I'll fuck you. I promise.
Thank you. This is why I'm a gay and celeb. You know, let's go back to Ern. Okay. Real quick, we want to. Some of the Habibis were talking about China, and I just want to let's just get to China real quick because they really want to hear China rant from you, Jay. And let me pull this story up before I forget, because we got a lot of other domestic news, but I know since it's getting late, we probably can't get to all of them. But give me 1 second while I pull this up. So there's been a big crackdown going on in Hong Kong, particularly, and it centers around the Hong Kong tycoon Jimmy Lai, who's the most high-profile person to be detained under a new controversial new security law. I said new twice. I don't know why the fuck I did that. And it's warned a lot of young protesters that they need to be more cautious from now on. And he was arrested on Monday. He is the publisher of the Apple Daily newspaper. And he was arrested in the newsroom. And the police, hundreds of police raided that newspaper office. And Jimmy Lai, he told BBC that he believed his arrest was just the beginning and that there'll be a long fight ahead for Hong Kong's freedom. Apple Daily is still trying to publish their newspaper, but other activists have been arrested. A prominent youth activist by the name of Agnes Chow was arrested, as were Wilson Lee, who works as a freelance journalist with the UK-based ITV News, and activist Andy Lee. Agnes Chow told reporters that it's very obvious that the regime is using the national security law to suppress political dissidents. And in episodes previously to this, we've talked about the Uyghur Muslims. I feel like we haven't given as much attention to Hong Kong. But Jay, when you think of this new national security law, do you think it's the end of Hong Kong as we know it?
Yes, I honestly do. And I don't think there's going to be any real pushback against it, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Luckily, Trump is doing these sanctions and he is doing these, different kind of trade taxes on China and stuff like that. But we need more. We need it to be crippling. We need it to be to the point where we are completely having our dick so far up China's ass that they come back and beg us to just
for more?
Give them a little bit of relief. You know what I mean? Just pull it out just a little bit.
A little bit of recticare.
A little bit, just a tiny bit. That's where I feel like we need to be, because what we are witnessing with China is not only that they're going to take over Hong Kong, is what they're doing with the Uyghur Muslims. Mm-hmm. And what they're doing with the Uyghur Muslims is exactly what Germany did with the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like Holocaust comparisons pushed out there, and none of them can relate to the exact things that China is doing with the Uyghur Muslims.
Right.
How you see the drone footage of where they have them on their knees and taking off their, shaving off their heads, and they are blindfolding them, making sure you can't tell what gender they are, making sure that they make them unfertile. All of these things are inhumane, and it is fucking heartbreaking when you see NBA, you see the fucking media, you see all these people like simping for China as much as possible. Yeah. And one of the biggest people is New York Times, that Taylor TikTok bitch right now trying to simp for China and make sure that with TikTok and all the kind of stuff, it's disgusting. It really, really is. And
all the advertorials that the New York Times got and then scrubbed from their website.
Right. And Washington Post and all these people. And then you say democracy dies in darkness. No, democracy dies when you don't give a shit about the inhumane treatment of people that is happening right now. This is going to be the 10th genocide in our lifetime, you and mine, that is going to happen, that the UN is not going to do shit about, that the media and here in the United States is not going to care about. Who cares about it? Nobody.
Yeah. It doesn't sell newspapers. It doesn't sell ratings. It's all garbage.
It is. And all these people who want to pretend like Trump is killing people or putting people in camps or is going to take people's rights away and all these kind of stuff. Yeah. We have it right now happening.
Yeah.
In real time.
And just to shift gears just a little bit, because like Americans are so worried that like Trump is never going to leave office, or that like he's going to try to influence the outcome of the election through foreign interference. I mean, they've talked about how like they tried to impeach him on the whole Ukraine stuff. And whether you believe the legitimacy of his request to the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden is one thing. Whether it's an impeachable offense, that if Democrats really wanted to get him impeached, removed from office, they would have gone for something a little bit tougher than obstruction of Congress. They didn't go for obstruction of justice, and that's where they faltered quite heavily. And that's why John Bolton felt the need that he didn't need to testify, because he knew where this whole thing was going. Sorry, I got Ernie hair on my tongue. Ugh, God, Ernie. Delicious Ernie dick. But the reason I bring this up is because in Belarus right now, which isn't getting that much coverage here in the United States, but I feel like we should at least tell our audience about it, is that there are now, as of today, the second protester who has died protesting the election outcome, which happened Sunday, in which I'm just going to read it, because I wish I knew more about this, because I've just been under the gun on a lot of other shit. So a protester has died in Belarus in police custody, the second death since clashes with police erupted on Sunday over a disputed presidential election. Officials say the cause of death of the 25-year-old man in Gomel is unclear. His mother says he had heart problems and was kept for hours in a police van. In Brest, police said they used live bullets when they came under attack. I don't know what the extent of them coming under attack. The UN has condemned the use of violence by authorities as protests continue for a fourth night. And the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, said police officers were reported to have used excessive force, firing rubber bullets and water cannons, and also throwing stun grenades. And we talked about a few weeks ago with the Belarusian leader, Alexander Lukashenko, who has been the president since 1994, was declared the winner of Sunday's vote. It it was condemned by the European Union, the election, as neither free nor fair. And the main opposition contender, I'm going to try to pronounce his name, and I apologize. It's Svetlana Tikhanovskaya.
Never apologize for mispronouncing names.
I know, but basically Svetlana fled to Lithuania, the neighboring country, because Lukashenko was cracking down on protesters. And I just find it amazing that you have this side by side between United States and Belarus, where like shit is really bad. And so I can't remember. I think it was like Andy Ostroy, some big lib on Twitter, was using footage from Belgrade, Serbia, to try to say that this was happening in Portland when it wasn't. Like, it's only a matter of time before we see footage of Belarus try to justify why Trump is like an authoritarian dictator. And I'm not trying to make the point about that. I think it's what's happening in Belarus is terrible and an obvious power grab. And I don't know. I think the United States has condemned it, but I feel like people, particularly the resistance, take what we have for granted and think that everything, think the sky is falling all the time. And when nothing happens, they usually just throw their hands up and say like Trump's an idiot, or like they constantly go back and forth between, Trump's evil and malicious and is a wannabe Hitler, to like Trump's an idiot. He can't do anything. Right.
And it's so mind boggling, because if Trump was like Hitler, he is so
he's bad at
fucking stupid. He's so bad at it.
He's bad at being Hitler.
They're so desperate for what is happening with the Uyghur Muslims in Belarus and all this kind of stuff to happen here. They're so desperate for it. And none of it has happened. None of it has come to fruition. They said that millions of people will die if Trump is president. They said that Muslims would be thrown in camps. They said that black people, gay people, all these people would be thrown in camps. All this kind of stuff. And none of that has happened. So the way I see it is, if you're going to say that Trump is at this extreme and it doesn't happen, and he's right over here, like even if this is the norm and he's right over here, I'm going to say you're full of shit, because you're saying he's up here while he's right here and the norm's right here.
Yeah.
It doesn't match up with what you're trying to push as a narrative. And it goes back to the people who tried to push this narrative are journalists. They're trying to push this narrative that's not coming into real life. And they lie. They fucking lie. Even today, Yamiche lied about like what Trump was saying. He on
about the suburbia stuff. Yeah,
it's a complete lie. Like, if you see exactly what it was said and how she tweeted what she tweeted.
Actually, here, let me.
So fucked up. It's so like she should lose her job. If I was a journalist, like not a journalist, like what I do, if I lied as much as she did with that fucking tweet, I would be fired.
Okay, I actually have the clip right now. So let me go ahead and play that.
Warned several times that if Joe Biden is elected president, that there will be an invasion in suburban neighborhoods. It's a sentiment that you expressed in a tweet again this morning. What exactly do you mean by invasion?
What I mean is people are going to become, they're going to be opening up areas of your neighborhood, which they're doing, and now they wanted to expand it, and they will expand it. If for any reason they're going to, in my opinion, destroy suburbia. And just so you understand, 30% plus of the people living in suburbia are minorities. African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, they're minorities, 30%. The number's even higher. They say 35, but I like to cut it a little bit lower. You know why? That way I can never get myself in too much trouble with the fake news. But 30% plus are minorities living in suburbia. And when they go in and they want to change zoning so that you have lots of problems, where they want to build low-income housing, you want something where people can aspire to be there, not something where it gets hurt badly. And that's what happens. So with suburban women, suburban men, I think they feel very strongly about what I'm doing. It's a very fair question. It's a very important question. But they fought all their lives to be there, and then all of a sudden they have something happen that changes their life and changes what they fought for so many years. John, please.
All right, so let me pull up her tweet right now. Can you guys read that?
Yes.
A moment to behold. Question: what do you mean by an invasion in the suburbs if VP Joe Biden is elected? President Trump: they're going to destroy suburbia, and 30% of the people in suburbia are minorities. They say 35%, but I like to cut it lower. I'm not going to lie to you. I am not as well versed on this particular issue. What is it that you think? I would opine on it more and explain it more, but I haven't followed it that closely.
Right. I mean, look, the way she's portraying it is bad as fuck. But after just hearing what he said, is he saying that she's trying to portray it where he's trying to say that he wants to cut minorities from 35 to 30% in suburbia.
Oh, I see. So,
but that's not the way he was saying it in the media, in the press conference. Like right after you heard it live from his mouth, you don't get that. What you get is he is saying, I like to say 30 is because I want to cut it to 30 so they don't, misconstrue my words. And then she comes here just proving his fucking point and completely misconstruing his words, trying to state that he wants to cut minorities living in suburbia to 30% from 35%.
See, that took me a second. It's probably just because it's been a long day, and I'm honestly I'm an idiot and I can't follow along.
No, you're not. You're really not. And she tried to make it subtle. So if you only read her tweet and not listen to the clip, then you'd be like, "Oh my God, Trump is so fucking racist and blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
But we just listened to the clip, and when you read her tweet, you didn't understand what she was talking about.
Yeah, I truly did not understand what she was saying. That was just like, because his actual quote seemed pretty benign,
right? Just against the media.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just want to highlight this one other story because in the last week, obviously there was this huge explosion in Beirut, Lebanon, and I don't know what the relief effort is looking like, but certainly on the government level, it's fucking crazy. So the entire government stepped down, prime minister, his entire cabinet, and it was less than a week, obviously, after that massive explosion where 170 people were killed and more than 6,000 were wounded, sparking days of violent protests. The prime minister, Hassan Diab, addressed the nation, announcing his resignation and that of his government in the wake of the blast, which was called a quote-unquote disaster beyond measure. And he is now trying to find his successor. It registered as like a 3.5 earthquake on the Richter scale. But in any event, Lebanon is just like so rife with corruption, and they have so many issues. And like, this is just like the massive straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak.
Right. And I hope they change the complete makeup of the government, because the government in Lebanon is, for example, you can only be prime minister if you're a Sunni Muslim. You can only be president if you're a Christian. Like, they have a very segregated government and constitution where this allows for complete corruption. Yeah. It's so fucking horrible. that they allow it to be segregated in the way that it is. I mean, it is segregated where they thought, where they wanted to claim that Mike Pence would segregate the United States and stuff like that. Like, there's no segregation of the book and the government, and it is really fucking horrible. And what they had over there, and I think this is what happened, is Hezbollah had that port for themselves where they started, putting all of this fucking ammunition and
the ammonium nitrate,
horrible shit in it. And that's what killed all those people. That's what put more than 30,000 people out of homes. That's what happened. And I really hope, I pray, I mean, for the family members that I have over there, and for Lebanon as it is, that they will rewrite the Constitution into something more similar to the United States, and take religion and take that kind of stuff out of there, because it is
become more secular.
Not good for them. Much more.
Sarah, thank you, Sarah Jacobs, for chiming in. PewDiePie donated several thousand to the Lebanese Red Cross. It was going to be for an ocean depollution thing, but he changed it. I don't know how Lebanon recovers from this unless they have a massive amount of reform. And, people think shit's bad here in the United States. Man, we got it pretty good, comparatively speaking. But that's the thing. It's like, shit's really bad outside the United States. And we talk about how, like, in China, you can't, like Mark Cuban is like, I can't criticize other countries because we got shit so bad over here. Like, come on, dude, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. Like, it's not difficult. Of course you can criticize the United States and every other country for fucking up.
Right. We can make the United States better, but we don't have it that bad. We don't. They like to pretend that it is that bad, that they want to. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Not here. Not here. I will not do it here. I will not.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, give dua.
Please, Ya Allah.
ربنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.
Alhamdulillah.
That's the most Arabic I know. Okay, back to domestic news, because there are a couple big coronavirus things. For one, we have the AP doing an investigation that found that the death toll of New York nursing homes was significantly undercounted. And let me just pull that up, because it looked like it was like somewhere around 11,000. Was that the right estimate? They couldn't really.
Yes, that was AP said it was closer to 11,000 than 6,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely absurd shit. And the fact that the New York governor Andrew Cuomo and his office said they did an internal investigation and found they didn't do anything wrong. I mean, like, it's just all a sham. And the fact that he's got these high approval numbers, and there was like these glowing profiles. He's going on his brother's show, Chris Cuomo, and getting his dick
sucked by his own fucking brother.
Yeah,
and CNN is just posting that incest on national television.
Yeah. It's just awful. But some other interesting news. So everybody was focused yesterday on Kamala Harris being selected as the vice presidential nominee by Joe Biden. But this kind of went under the radar here, and that is that President Trump announces that the U.S. reached a deal with the pharmaceutical company Moderna for 100 million doses of a coronavirus experimental vaccine. It's vaccine titled mRNA, meaning it's a ribonucleic acid as opposed to DNA. So it's single strand, not double strand. Sorry, I'm a biology nerd. The deal is worth 1.53. it's the deal is worth $1.53 billion. See, like I know this shit like this, but I don't know like things like Belarus, whatever. Fuck me, right? In any event, like they say Moderna's coronavirus vaccine, it's in its late stage human trials, and it'll test its efficacy and safety in 30,000 people. And this comes at the same time as Russian President Vladimir Putin announces that they have a coronavirus vaccine. But no one can really believe that shit because one, it's Putin, and two, what?
I said it's so intertwined. It's Putin's
It's
dick and Trump's dick, and they're just like
they're playing a game of swords.
Yeah.
So there's that. But at the same time this week, in college football news, coronavirus has hit it pretty hard. You have the Big Ten and Pac-12 conferences, part of the Power Five conferences, canceling their respective seasons. The Big 12 said it's going to continue pushing through. I don't know about the SEC and ACC. I think we're still waiting on a decision from them, or if there's been any news. But I was saying this on Fox Business the other day that, why couldn't they replicate conference schedules like they do with, like, say, the bubble of the NBA or at least with soccer? Like, people are worried about going to class. Like, these athletes don't really go to class. You could absolutely go, to these lectures online because that's what they've been doing.
Right.
If you say like have 5 different locations or 5 different cities where you have, all the different college football teams, I'm sure you can spread it out even more. Like be able to play in a particular venue or multiple venues within the same city. I mean, like there's not going to be any fans there. So it's just to me, I mean, like, I feel like they could do this without, if they do this in a pretty careful way. I don't think they have the infrastructure to do it right now. I mean, it's only a few weeks away from the season, but if they had talked about doing this earlier, maybe they could have done it for the fall. They probably will have to just wait to the spring anyways, because it sounds like everybody in college football is a fucking idiot.
No, to me, I think they do have infrastructure to do it. They can do it. They have the medical professionals there to make sure it can happen. I mean, the premiership went on with no problems. The
NBA has been doing a pretty good job with a few players breaking quarantine, like Lou Williams going to a strip club. Shout out to Lou Williams.
No, but the thing is that these kids, they need this season to be able to, especially the ones who have it that this is their last season. Like this is more important to them than math class.
You can defer eligibility if you have a certain number of seasons played. The concept of redshirting, right?
Yes.
You defer eligibility so that there are even grad students who have played college football because they've been able to defer eligibility.
Right. No,
this may not be their last season. Sure, they can graduate, but then the next season, if they really wanted to play, if they felt like they needed to make that next step to go pro, if they needed that season, then they can do it. Like I feel like their entire season, while it's unfortunate that you have Big Ten football because like everybody's thinking like, oh, it's Big Ten, so they must be tough, right? It turns out they're a bunch of fucking pussies.
Well, it's not the head coaches and it's not the players. It's the fucking board members who decided on that. The players and the coaches, they want it to happen. And when you look at what's the death rate of COVID?
What is it, like 0.02%? I don't even know what it is anymore because the stats are so unreliable and they constantly fluctuate.
It's so fucking low that it doesn't even matter. Like I whack off more in a day than it matters to the deaths of the people within the age range of 18 and 24 of COVID.
Wait, how many times are you whacking off a day?
Like 4,000. I mean, I whack off in the office. I whack off at night. I whack off before I go to sleep. I whack off before I have lunch. Like, it's insane. Like, but this is what I'm saying is that they are making these decisions that are going to hurt these players, and these players have less than a fucking 0.0 whatever percent of dying from this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the coaches have the coaches will have more of a higher chance to die from this than the players, and they're like, let's play.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a lot of it is just strange, and I feel like they were not prepared for this at all. I mean, like, well, obviously no one was prepared for this, but I feel like you've had at least 4 or 5 months of this being around, and the fact that college football conferences, and I guess NCAA as a whole, not having the wherewithal to prep for it. Look, I mean, I get it. A lot of people are scared of the virus, and they don't want to go out, or they don't want to go into big gatherings. And I feel like people should be allowed to opt out if they really wanted to.
And players too. I mean, the players that don't want to play opt out.
How many cases have there been in the United States? 5 million. How many deaths have there been? Like 160,000, almost 170.
Right, and that's where you have to come into play with it.
I really need to just find these stats right now, because based on what they're telling us, we can find out the death rate. COVID.
No, go for it. And to me, the death rate is insignificant. I mean, you see places like fucking Florida and all these things. Mm-hmm. If you are high risk, stay home. If you're not, why are we destroying the lives of everybody? That's my thing to it, is that there are people who are willing, they know the risks, they want to go through with it. They want to push through. This is the United States of America. Fuck you, Gavin Newsom. Fuck you, Cuomo. Fuck you, all these people. If I think that I want to go out and enjoy myself, or if I want to go out and make sure that I can bring in sufficient enough of funds for my family and make sure that they're living okay, fuck you. You don't get to dictate that. And they shouldn't be able to dictate that. And they're fucking this shit over and over again, and they're destroying people's lives. And honestly, I don't think they should be forgiven for this shit. Gavin Newsom should not be forgiven. Cuomo should not be forgiven.
So based on the data I'm looking at right now from CDC, the death rate right now nationally stands, there are 166,000 deaths and 5.2 million cases. That translates to a death rate of 3.1%. If you look at the flu, and I'm trying to get the right numbers here, because at least I'm looking at, what is this, 2017? See, like, this is, I can't do like the right comparison here, because
you can do the right comparison to COVID, and you will see that we are like 10%, like the 10th place or something. We're behind Brazil, France, and the UK, and some of these other places. And look, my biggest thing is, let's see Arizona, let's see Sweden, let's see these places. These places have come down a lot. Sweden, where they said that they're up at whatever percent, they're coming down. They're getting less and less, and they never had stay-at-home orders. They didn't close down restaurants. They didn't destroy people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I think if this wasn't an election year, think of where we'd be.
Look, Think what it would be if Obama was president when this was happening. I mean, nobody would have.
I mean, that's also true. Well, no, people would have given a shit. I mean, you just saw today that Kamala Harris was trying to compare the coronavirus pandemic to the Ebola epidemic.
Ebola.
Like you can't make that comparison at all because it really is apples to oranges.
No, it is.
So it's
100%.
Just all essentially. So there's that. But one more other thing about coronavirus is that Democrats seem to have completely flipped the script on reopening schools. You have Chuck Schumer saying that last week, saying, quote, if we don't open up the schools, you're going to hurt the economy significantly. What the fuck happened? Does someone have compromat on him? Is someone holding a gun? Like, is there like a fucking red dot on his skull that Trump is like pointing at him with a sniper rifle? Like, where is this coming from? How is it the fact that they're caving on reopening schools after saying that, like, Trump, you have fucking Jennifer Rubin saying, oh, now Trump wants to kill your kids. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know if I actually now need to go check to see if Jennifer Rubin has said anything about schools reopening, knowing that she says that Trump wants to kill your kids. But this is it's absolutely insane. I mean, you have Georgia reopening their schools. You have kids being suspended for taking photos of their classmates and teachers all gathered together. And like, what, 9 of them have gotten tested positive for coronavirus. I mean, like, you're not going to 100% stop the spread of it without a vaccine, obviously, but hospitalizations and deaths obviously matter. Hospitalizations will tell you a lot, because if people are getting coronavirus, but they're not going to the hospital for it, that means the virus is not hurting them as badly as we thought.
Right. And my favorite thing is watching, or not watching, is putting the comparisons of New Jersey and New York to Arizona and Georgia and Florida, where you have this high fucking hill and this low hill with Georgia and Arizona and Florida, on not to, put too much strain on your healthcare system. What I think happened with Schumer is the polling on this is that it flipped significantly, that we should put kids back to school when it happens, because let's face it, these parents need that, that free time where kids are at school. They need this to happen. And we don't have a significant death rate with kids.
Right. Like, they can still get coronavirus. Yeah, no, like they can still get coronavirus, and maybe transmit it to other people, like the elderly parent, like their parents or their, grandparents. But I feel like everybody's still sheltering in place for the most part, that, those interactions aren't happening nearly as much. Like, I am not seeing, like, my sister had a baby, like, like a week and a half ago, or 2.5 weeks ago. God.
Mabruk.
Oh, shukran, Habibi. But like, I'm not like, just my parents have gone to visit her. Same with her in-laws. Like, no one else is gone. And it's just, I feel like people are taking the necessary precautions and things are reopening. And yes, cases are still going up, but like, I think it's reached a point where people are so desensitized to sort of the panic of it all that, you're just like, all right, maybe we should just fucking reopen and just see how it goes. I mean, the fact that we got this deal with Moderna to get these experimental vaccines is obviously a great sign. And you can bet your ass that Trump wants to get a vaccine before November.
Right. He wants to be able to be,
which is great incentive. It's a good incentive, because if your political life is staked on trying to get a vaccine to save as many people as you possibly can, why the fuck would you not do it? Of course, you should want to do it in any case, but we're talking about people who are politicians, and I think all politicians for the most part are pieces of shit.
No, they are.
it just strikes me as weird that this seems like, and you and I have talked about it extensively, how it seems like the opposition and the resistance wants things to be as bad as possible. And that leads me to our last segment, and that is the social unrest that's happening most recently in Chicago. But there are several stories happening sort of in parallel. So Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago, she finally got off her ass after weeks of sort of maligning people for gathering, and actually condemned the rioters and looters in her city, in the downtown area on Michigan Avenue, saying that it was actually a sophisticated attack. It was organized, and they implemented the curfew. All right, credit to her where it's due. Of course, at the same time, in Seattle, the police chief, Carmen Best, says she's going to retire amidst the protests and the city council cutting the police budget as well as her wages. And I feel like that's the first domino to fall. But Jay, I want to get your thoughts on this, because obviously not a good sign at all for kind of keeping the peace, is it not?
No, it's not. And Lori Lightfoot doesn't, or whatever the fuck her name is, doesn't.
You got it right.
Yeah, I did, right? I don't think she deserves any credit, because she was in the beginning allowing this shit to happen, and then now she wants to say that these are riots because we can actually see what is happening. Now,
well, I mean, like, yeah,
Seattle,
she was. Look, conservatives talk about Chicago all the time and how it's like the reason they use that as the reason why. I feel like it's sort of a cop out in many ways, because when things like police brutality happen, almost the first go-to response is like, oh, well, what about fucking Chicago? Right? Like, there's tons of black on black crime. Why don't you stop that?
Right.
Like, I feel like that's, it's that type of whataboutism that doesn't actually address either issue. It's just sort of muddying the waters of the discourse. And I feel like that's unfair. And it's unfair to the people of Chicago, because they still have a massive problem with gang violence, especially on the South Side. And even, Washington, D.C., where I am, there was a shooting this past weekend where there were multiple shooters in Southeast and Anacostia, where 20 people were shot and a 17-year-old boy died. Right. And it was at a mass social it was a social gathering. It's just, and then you have Portland. The police department, or the authorities, declared a riot after protesters lit fire to a police union building. So, and this is after weeks of these massive confrontations between protesters and then almost these law enforcement officers who are federal law enforcement officers arresting people in unmarked vans, and people saying this is the fucking Gestapo. Guys, can you for once just pull your head out of your ass and understand that there is obviously there's a fucking problem with people acting out and lighting shit on fire and beating store owners up and looting, and yes, there are pieces of shit everywhere doing this. Why can't you just call a spade and address it, rather than just playing politics and pushing back against President Trump because you don't like the guy? Right. And it's just you had Lori Lightfoot for weeks, and this is the time where I'm going to be critical of her pushing back against the National Guard coming in when there's a lot of unrest happening in her city, and getting into fights with the White House press secretary, Kayleigh. What was it? How do you pronounce her last name?
McAnal?
Yes, that's the one. Calling her a Karen. It's the type of shit that it's a distraction tactic. You have Ted Wheeler in Portland trying to march with the protesters, and you have headlines being run about him, about how he's getting gassed. It's fucking tear gas, for one. It's meant to disperse a crowd, and it's just everybody. Everybody's fucking insane.
No, they really are. They're fucking crazy. And like what happened in Chicago, what's happening in Portland, what's happening in Seattle, all of these places that are fucking heavily dim controlled. The media doesn't give a fuck about it. They'll come and they'll be like, "Oh, this is a year from the Charlotte stuff. Right-wing people are going to kill this nation and blah blah blah." And then anytime you bring up that, look what's happened in Chicago, look what's happening. Why are you talking about that? Why are you saying these things?
Look, I don't say. Look, I agree that like
I gotta go pee. I'm sorry.
I really have to pee too, so I'm not going to cancel. I'm not going to end the stream right now, but let's just wait to see. Here. Hold on one second. There we go. Let's take some comments. I know we have it's me and 68 other Habibis watching right now. It means there's 69 of us. Nice. So let's see. Let's go through here. Kimmy is the MVP of tonight's HPH chat from Fuzzy. Because Kimmy says, massive problem, emphasis on the ass. Carlos saying that virus thick. And the stream. Carlos says it's cross streams. Billy Finn, Jay is not going to wash his hands. That's pretty much a guarantee. He says that's a racist. Fuzzy says, Siraj, yes or no, should Kimmy DM Fuzzy? Absolutely. Let's go. Shoot that shot. If people found love in the Habibi Power Hour chat, that would just warm my heart. And it would mean that both Jay and I have to officiate the wedding.
We would. And I would officiate the wedding in a very Sharia manner.
Absolutely. Carlos says, you had me at wet ass, Jay. Kimmy with the guarantee. Oh, man. So
she's so good.
Yeah, no, you guys are on fire tonight. I feel like I tried to get as much energy out of me as I could, but what is it? Jay and Mueller says Jay's urine is going to be pure larceny. Marco says Siraj set me up with Tiana. I think she's dating somebody now. Joseph Connor Michalif. Is that the Caliph? This is a chat about love and ass and not that order. Let's see. I feel like we covered everything. Did we not? That was everything.
No, we did.
I wish we probably should have taken more Habibi questions this time around. Like last time I counted the amount of times we took questions, and it was 6 different instances in 2 hours. And we told ourselves we weren't going to go for 2 hours tonight. Yet here we are doing 2
hour mark.
2 hour mark. Bean Dude Nate Beebe says, Siraj, why were you pronouncing Ilhan Omar like Ilhan Omar? Glenn Beck was making the same mistake a few days ago. Am I?
It's Ilhan.
Oh, shut the fuck up! You're gonna. Man, Carlos says I asked the Fox 5 reporter out, and she's like, I don't know if my boyfriend would like that. R.I.P. That's a major oof. That's the Spanish coach of the men's national team. He's just like,
no, that's the Brazil. That was the Brazil coach.
No, he was a Spanish coach. They were playing the Netherlands in the 2018.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I thinking it was the Brazilian coach, but no, you're right. It was the Spanish coach.
Yeah. Faye says we did not cover Siraj's cult status. That's right. Yashar said I am now a cult leader. So that means Yashar. So that means all of you are gonna have to drink the Kool-Aid, whatever Kool-Aid that is. It's probably my piss.
Come election day.
Come election day. That's the Kool-Aid. Yeah. I want to know which reporter this was.
I don't even know.
Yeah, Vicente Del Bosque. That was the coach.
That's the coach. You can see he would know. Marcus would know because he's Barcelona. He's a dick sucking Barcelona.
And Fuzzy would know because he's a huge soccer fan and also a big fan of Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich. And they play in the quarterfinal of the UEFA Champions League this Friday, I think.
I think it is.
Hold on 1 second. You gotta look at this. Look at him. You see him?
Yeah, I see him. Majestic as fucking always.
Look at that guy.
God, he knows how to do it. He knows how to do it.
Let's just embrace that. Let's just I'm gonna just no, not solo you, solo earn. Look at that. Look at that. Oh God. Just beautiful.
God, damn.
Damn, he's thick. Damn, he's thick.
Now he's a perfect mix, whatever he is, between a Chihuahua and whatever. Because to me, Chihuahuas are disgusting as fuck. But Ern, he's the shit.
Yeah. So I think we'll just end it on the Ern. Just watch him.
That's the best way to end it.
Yeah. He's tired. He wants to go to sleep. He's looking at me like, let's fucking go. So.
I know. You're going to be watching some Netflix and then waking up at 1 p.m. tomorrow.
Dude, I'm so tired. I might go to sleep literally right after I get off of this. Literally fall asleep right here next. I'm actually going to move Ernie out of his bed and sleep in it.
No, make sure he's on top of you.
It's true. Sounds good. All right, Habibis. Y'all been great. Thanks for joining us for another Habibi Power Hour. Y'all have a good night. Ma salama. Y'all be safe.